Guys, this is Jay here from Australia with the kangaroos, the koalas, and the emus, the ones that look like ostriches. Get the marbles out of my mouth. The kangaroos come down the front yard, of course. And it's welcome to a chat with Jay as a part of the 11 Spiritual Transit podcast, where we talk to many, many people around the world about their spiritual awakenings, about their journey. And I have a fellow Australian on today, Big Ron Pollaxe. I see him so much on TikTok, and he's so inspirational in some of the words he's been saying. I said to myself, these are the kind of people we need on the channel to go on Spotify and all the other places that we actually post these interviews. And I see him regularly on TikTok, and just some of the words here and the lessons that he has been speaking about, a passionate person about the life and what he has done and where he is right now. A lot of it speaks true, and I know so because I've been through it myself. Ron, welcome to a chat with Jay. How are you, mate? This is your debut podcast.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me on the show. My maiden voyage, so it's a special one there, and thanks for the hype up. For me, a regular dad, regular man, just on a mission to share my life's experience with everyone.
Absolutely, mate. And a lot of people do that these days. We talk to a lot of people around the world who have exactly the same theory as what you've got. You've gone through something. It's resonated with you in your heart and your soul, and you just go, right, this is the way it should be. This is the way we want to live life. And we're going through such up and down times at the moment. It's very interesting that we always come across them cross paths. So let's go on to you, mate. The floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, right at this point in time, I'm just jumped into a sales role in my current job. I've been there for 17 years. Had many roles. Been a manager, managed teams for the past 10 years out of that 17. And let's say the last 10 years, I've really had an awakening on how I want to share myself and my coaching, mentoring with the world, but it dates back to my upbringing. It was a pretty colourful past when I was a youngster. Always had a home, always had a roof over my head and meals. But like a lot of Aussies out there was a lot of tough times, a lot of chaotic moments. Let's say a lot of yelling, a lot of abuse, a lot of violence, a lot of happy times. Just like my videos will go on to demonstrate, and just. I had a good support network with a lot of friends with good parents. So if it wasn't for the parents that were associated with my mates, I probably wouldn't have the background that I do have now and the understanding of what it's like to take someone into your home and make sure that they're being cared for. And it's a funny thing in life when, as a dad now, trying to share my stuff with my son. My experience when I watched my best mates' dads try and share their knowledge and experience, it can come on like it's a lecture all the time, whereas a dad's only just trying to share his experiences so his son doesn't go on to make the same errors. Where I came into the families as a bystander. So as the fly on the wall, I got to absorb all of this information and really took on board what would be helpful and what wouldn't be. So, yeah, a lot of that learning, I just really... try and share that with anybody who I can. I've turned that around. Being a dad, been married for 21 years now. My daughter's nearly 21. My son's 16.
Yep.
Kids at 22. So anyway, waffling on, but that's essentially where I've got to now. And it's all inside. And I think it's time to just, all these little experiences that you have over life, everybody goes through the same experiences. So in any positive way, I can even just touch a few words with somebody who resonates, just a change of perspective that could change their life. And, mate, I'm winning.
Yeah, you are. Well, this is why I got you on. I see a lot of your videos come up a lot within my feed, and what resonates is the way you talk about it. And I think what I see is you actually do it live. Like you just say, right, I'm going to talk about. You get a feeling within you, and you just talk about it. You can tell straight away, and I think that's very important because you go with your intuition and going with your heart, as I see, and that's what comes across in your videos. So awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's why I thought, no, I've got to get this guy on. He's got something to share. And it's not, and some people say to me, I haven't got much. No, everyone's got something in their life or something to give to someone, another voice to someone else. Like, as I said, there's no way I would have not got you on. So tell us a little bit about your awakening process. Tell us a bit about your videos, because you go on once or twice a day. Would it be, Ron? Would that be correct? Or
A lot of it started out that way. When did I kick off? I probably at the back end, going into Christmas last year. So I'd say, was it 22 into 23?
Yep.
I started just going for walks. I live in a nice area out west of Sydney, which is a lot of, it's semi-rural, but there's trees and we're close enough to suburbia. It's
okay.
Where I reflect and start off as 2 a week, just 2 a week. And then as it progressed, I just started, when I had a feeling or something would, sit on my heart that I wanted to share with someone, I'm quite active. So I'll go for a walk. I'll listen to music, which will spark a point, spark a memory, spark something an experience. And then I'll go, okay, yeah, cool. I have a bit of, maybe write that along the way, and then just speak it out as I'm on that walk.
Yeah, I can see that, because it's something that I always get triggered by music, by movies. I always say I get messages from different places. You always attract to something, but when your awareness grows, that's when the actual answer comes. And I found that in especially in the last 6 to 12 months, I've been doing that, especially even working with the shadow. I don't know if you probably know about the shadow. The first 7 years. Yeah. So I work with a lot of that. So everything's resonating to when you're the first 7 years of your life. And the other thing is, which is big, which I can see in you, is you have absolute awareness of what's going on around you. You really have a perspective on some of your words and some of your videos of really, well, you're getting a lot. Well, it's not even just that, mate. You're getting a lot of comments with regards from around the world about your honesty, mate, and it's you can see it within you what you're doing.
We're all raw, aren't we? We've all. The simplest thing is that we're all experiencing the same things as human beings.
Yes.
The moment that we can accept that and understand that, hey, every 24 hours we can reset and start again, right? All these demons that are inside everybody, and so they might be little things, but to people they might be the biggest things that the whole world stops. To someone a little more resilient, it might be come on, get on with the show. But you got to remember that even the smallest things can seem like a mountain to some people, and it just all comes. We're all different, but we're all experiencing those same things. Same in relationships, in the workplace, general lives, trying to be healthy, watching people. It's the list goes on, and we all know that. But it's about just helping people just tap into that and just reset and go, you know what, I'm not that bad of a person, And every day we get up and we can get to breathe and get out of bed. Some people don't have legs to hop out of bed. Some people wish that they would be in as bad a position as us. So it's just, it's just a reality check. And as I said, it's growing stronger and stronger inside. And the more momentum you get,
yep,
you're just connecting and that's just the way where I'm at.
That's exactly it. So I resonated with it a lot because we look at where the ego is. I do a lot of internal work with regards to understanding where I was and how it all felt. And I'm looking at you, and obviously you can understand where your ego is just basically nil. You've absolutely got control of it now, and just the beautiful energy that's coming out with those words. I mean, you can actually inspire people to do that, because some people just need a good word in there, a good word, don't they? Like and that's why TikTok. I mean, everyone goes, "Oh, TikTok's this stuff," but I think, I don't know about yourself. Do you because they say social media is always the devil of all evils and all these sometimes, but it's perspective, because you and me will go on there and look for inspirational stuff. Would that be fair to say? And put out stuff.
100%. Yeah, 100%. All the content that goes in mine, aside from the fails, because we all like to see someone stacking a skateboard here and there and crashing on
exactly. Bit of humor's not. Bit of humor's okay,
and it's like the word you said is it's all perspective, because people, and generally it's going to come from people who aren't in a great place, and they see it as negativity, and people use it as a platform to bring people down. But the world was once like this massive big place, and there's nothing gone out of the world. It's just condensed in where it's become so small, and that's because of the internet and social media platforms. So it does have its negative aspects, but conversely, you're able to reach people a lot easier. You know what I mean? A lot of people out there need reaching, but it's just where we've become as a society and a species. But let's face it, the traditional reasons that we exist to what we are today, and the world that's grown up around us was started with relationships and communication and working together. That's why we've survived so long as people. We just lost that with the distractions,
Yeah, well, the distractions of life and all that. But I want to ask you, your perspective. How have you changed in the last 5 years?
The last 5 years, let's see. I've really get a grip of who I am as a person and where I want to go in my life.
Yep.
And the journey started about 10, but in the last 5, it's accelerated to be able to not adopt any negative energy. We all get the shits in the moment.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But I've really learned not to be able to hold on to that frustration, right? Because whatever you hang on to, you're going to continue. It starts with someone cuts you off in the morning on the way to work. If you hang on to that, next you've run a red light, and then you've got a red light ticket for your trip to work, and then everyone's on you at work. But not focusing too long and then moving on with it. Deep breath out. That's what I would say in the last 5 years. I've really been able to harness, not become negative.
Yeah, I could just say, it's a case of with what you were saying with that, with regards to letting things go, going with the flow. I think trusting your heart as well. Ron?
The flow.
Yeah,
get in the flow before you take off for your day, and you can hang on to that like a good wave of momentum. Depends which way you want to go on.
Yeah, well, that's it. You get to a point. I understand there's intuition. There's so many spiritual ways you can look at things. Like, you got intuition, you've got feelings, you've got this. And as you said, there's nothing wrong with expressing a frustration and then letting it go. I think we're misdirecting in a lot of ways where we do things, the way people get the information. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't express. But there's safe expression just to let go. But if you go into where we are now, we understand where we are, and we can get this, then we can sort of move on from there. Would that be? You're
spot on there, Jay. It's normal to feel all of our emotions. That's why we have them. And I'm not a spiritual guy in terms of preaching anything by all means, but we all have that emotion, and we all get angry. We're all happy. We're all sad. But depending on what we're going to focus on is, that Anthony Robbins is big for it, where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it?
It's as simple as that. And in our spiritual journey, as people, it's being able to go what that trigger is, which leading into the stress. Okay, what's that moment that I've got to get a grip on? Because you can harness that moment, and you can acknowledge it, and you go, okay, kick your toe, pardon the language, but
I can swear what you like.
Kicking your toe, with Homer Simpson. I don't know if you remember The Simpsons, or who doesn't remember The Simpsons.
Yeah, I know. We all know The Simpsons.
Homer kicks his foot on the garage door, and he said, "Fiddle-dee-dee, I'm not going to swear," and then he just goes and destroys his garage door. But yeah, coming back to the point without the waffle, knowing what triggers you. When you feel that coming on, be able to step back, breathe, find some little things, little habits, or little processes that you can just, if you got to step out of the office at work, if you got to go for a walk at home, because remember, we're all on our own independent journey anyway. Someone might have the shits, and it reflects on them.
Yep.
But they got the shits not at you directly, unless you pissed them off, of course, and you had an argument face to face.
Yeah, that's it.
Everyone's going about their life in their own bubble, right? So we can anticipate something's wrong when it's not wrong. The same as fear. We anticipate there's something scary, and that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Whether it's real, whether it's a threat, or whether it's non-existent, we make that up in our minds, and it's about just going, we're in control of this little thing up in between our ears.
Well, this is
easier said than done, but as again, over the last 5-10 years, it's about working towards that, and you got to consciously want to work towards it. If you're not to do that, it becomes more difficult.
What about choice, Ron? What about choice? If you understand of that, I only really understood and really got a deep understanding of our choice, our mental and heart choice, meaning that we do have control in what we do. I don't think people really realize how much control they have over themselves. My mentors, Greg Riley and Michael McNair, when we did the Shadow Warrior course, when we went through, I think it was about 5-6 years. It was 5 years? Yeah, something like 5 years ago. We had all this discussion, and they go, you got choice in how you react. Because I had massive anxiety, panic attacks, all this other, worry, stress, all this, but you got a choice on how you do that. I understand how cortisol works and all that stuff, living in states of anxiety and all that. But once you actually recognize, and it's the hardest thing, I don't know about yourself, how you got to the point, and you can maybe explain it, but once you go through that forest of fear, you sort of come out the end like we are at the moment, and we know how to cope. We've got those coping mechanisms and that life knowledge, haven't we?
Yeah, correct. And it's that the word you said there is choice. That's the only thing. That's the only thing in life that we get that's ours. Yeah, we can choose. We can't choose what happens to us. There's a billion things going on. Once we leave the house and we're out in the big bad world, there's a billion things that can happen to us. There's shit going on everywhere. But we've got that little gift of choice, and we can choose how we respond to those things out there. We can determine what everything means to us. We're going to evaluate and decide whether we're going to let it get to us or we're going to move forwards. And that's the gift of choice. Our creator, the universe, everyone has a different perspective on
the creator,
how and where, right? So, but essentially it's all that one thing there is our ability to choose how we respond and how we interpret things, and that's ours,
Do you think? Do you think, Ron? Where I was going with choice. Do you think the younger generation, or as we're getting into the 21st century, if you want, or whatever you want to put it, do you think we're sort of being misled on how we're supposed to, what choice really is, and that's been taken away from us? I work in the school system, and I reckon it is in some ways, unless you're real, meaning. It's just not taught the right way.
It's a topic that, from political.
What I'm saying is, what do you reckon? Because you've got a good perspective on it.
My personal view on that topic is that as parents and as mentors and as leaders, society has a responsibility on just, again, teaching the kids that they've got a choice to how they adopt and respond to things.
Do you think it's been lost though, Ron? What I'm saying is, you've got really good perspective. Do you think we do have, you and me could teach it? Do you think it's lost on other people? Because I don't think it's just, I don't know. I just see a lot of people. They're starting to wake up, really wake up.
Yep.
But what do you see in society, how that comment comes out, and how it's
Did you feel the core values are kind of being left behind? On how to operate.
Yeah, in some ways you can look at that. What do you reckon?
Well, I think we don't like to use the term softening generation, because that's.
You can say whatever you like, as I said, but mate, I know what you're saying.
It's not about being soft. It's not about being soft or hard, but we become less resilient.
Yes,
is probably the way to put it. And if you really think about it, I had a good think about this the other day. It's probably something I might even talk about as I'm walking around. But you think through the 20s, coming in the early 1900s, we had a war, World War I, then we kicked into World War II. Then we kicked into Vietnam, Korea and Vietnam. There was a big era of resilience where comrades had to go and fight for their countries. Everyone had to. It was just a really tough mental character building time. Right? If I'm to ball it all up, there hasn't been big ground wars like that where people have to go in hand. You know, thank God for our soldiers out there defending all the countries.
Oh, absolutely. But I'll put it to you this way, Ron. I'll put it to you this way. That's great perspective. Do you think in that way? Do you think it's gone another way though? We're not being. You're exactly right. We're not being soft or anything like that. But physically, we had to be resilient. Do you think it's gone more to the mental, and they're softening us a little bit mentally, so we aren't as resilient? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, in the physical terms, we become less resilient, but in the distractions that are out there,
yes,
there are distractions out there to take people's attention away from standing up for things as well.
Yes,
you know that's in all aspects. You know what I mean? It's become, you know, where we're being walked over a little bit as people, and more than ever, everybody's got to come back together and get back to the roots of being society, you know, working together for each other rather than being distracted by all the things that are going on, and really take some more perspective into that, you know. But again, that's for me, that's a perspective now, but yeah, I haven't really thought too much about that kind of that part of it as you're asking me now. So
it's something to look at, because you've definitely got a good perspective on it.
Yeah, we need to get back together, and it's not just, there's no silver bullet for that. Obviously, it's just about, where do you start? You just start by talking to your neighbour. You start by talking to the guy up the road. You just start by, I go and mow my yard around the house. I'm on a corner block. I go and continue mowing the neighbour's house.
Yep.
You know, all these little acts where you're getting that, you're just getting that bond, that connection, that energy flowing. You know,
it's a good flow though, Ron. You know, I mean, it seemed like when we were sort of, when we're told to give, we're sort of over giving and all those kind. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, give yourself away. You don't mind giving things away. That's not a problem. You know, it's always worth a smile, worth a hello, how you going? You know, stuff like that. I think we've lost that aspect of things because of, you know, obviously because of the way society's gone. But just something simple like that every day is not a bad thing to have, is it?
Correct. And look, again, it's the choice. That word we go back to choice. You choose to say hello to someone. Like I can sit on a bus with or a train, you know, with my kids, and I'll just start up a conversation with somebody, and not so much now because my kids are really adopted the fact that Dad's just going to talk to someone on the bus.
Yeah. That's great.
When they first started, you know, we were going on public transport and heading into events in the city and stuff like that. They say, "What, Dad? They think you're crazy." I said, "I think I'm being human," and it's as simple as that. Then you find you're talking to people. They're opening up on the train. You know, 9 times out of 10, you sit on the train, everyone's like this, got their phone. But the moment you start having a conversation with someone, they open up, because we all want that connection. We want community.
The interaction, because I'm a teacher by trade, and I see it. Like, and the first thing you got to do is get the interaction between kids. And I've just seen a massive change, a massive shift in the way that kids are just standing. They're getting okay, we've got 10 minutes on this one to go, mate, and then we'll go to the second part. Yeah, it's just interacting. There's a level of interaction that they want as well. You know, I mean, it's big for people to get to know each other. Like, you know, when they have all these startup programs and all this other stuff. For me, the startup program is not just colouring in; it's actually getting to know your classes, your classroom. Just go, here's a pack of Uno cards. Go and play Uno. Yeah. I mean, how easy is that? You got 5 or 6. I know it was when I was at the school I was at. I chucked a pack of Uno cards, and here's 6 kids that I didn't think they wouldn't play together or whatever it may be. Suddenly they're playing Uno. I mean, it's such a simple thing. I think we've lost that thing. What's that? I was going to say, lost that love and feeling. You know what I mean? But, you know.
Just getting to know who the person is, right? Yes. You ask questions, people will tell you everything, right? And it's the more you ask, but you got to ask with the intention to listen and hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're listening, but we're not hearing. Yeah. If you're going to go past someone in your workplace or whatever, like yourself, you go past someone in a different department. You know, if you're a phys ed teacher and you go past the music
How you going,
teaching
mate?
office, so how you going? Or you pull up. If you ask the question, you're stopping to ask how you going. So how you going? Yeah, good, mate. Why is that? What's happening? And then you stop and you listen and you talk. And that's one thing that in the past 10 years of managing teams within my industry, it's you really want to be asking someone what's going on, and then once they open up, you're asking more. Okay, and you'll find that because you're asking, you don't have to talk about yourself. You know, and the more people, the more teams, the more more part of everyone in society, you're finding that they're opening up and unpacking all this stuff which they wouldn't generally unpack, and it gives them an opportunity at least to just get off what's on their mind, or at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the thing is with that too, we got people. I mean, you got to catch 22 in some ways. It's good to be like what we are. We've got to be careful of other people, because I find as well that with the way society is, and it's all ego driven, we all know it. It's people, I see it all the time, people jostling for positions. Everyone doesn't have to get on, but you can see the way people treat each other. And I find it this way. I usually have a test there, Ron, and I'd be interested to hear your opinion. People are busy and all that, you know, when you're in a workplace.
Yeah.
It's really funny. You watch people how they respect you, regardless if you're a nice person, you say hello. And you work out whether you walk past them, look at their body language. And not once, not twice. You wait for the third time and you see what happens. And then you watch them with other people. And there's nothing wrong with saying, in my belief, hi, how are you? You don't have to like the person. How you going? But you see the body language. A lot of people are really, really getting into their point where they just don't even acknowledge anyone they don't like or they feel threatened by, or some kind of garbage like that. What do you think about that?
Well, again, it's, you know, if regardless of anyone saying hello or not to me, it's the same philosophy every time. You know what I mean? Again, circling back to that choice point we were making earlier. Like, you can choose to stop saying hello to them, and then they'll probably ask. And human nature is, how come they're not saying hello to anymore? And then all of a sudden they're thinking, that guy doesn't like me. And you'll find they'll start to come over and probably start talking to you anyway. But again, for me, going back to being able to decide and choose how I feel to act. Body language, no body language. I'll still be saying hello, and I'll still be going about being me.
That is absolutely fair. Ron, we're going to go to part 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ron is this is why I got him on. Such nice perspective from someone that has just giving his message because he wants the best for himself, his family, and society, and to get back to the way we should be, I reckon. But you can find Ron on TikTok. You can see down the bottom that we'll have where we can find him. Make sure you follow him, listen to his daily readings, I guess, or daily thoughts. We'll be back with part 2 very, very soon with Ron. Thank you so much for joining in, and we'll be back very soon.
Peace out.